Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. And today, I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh Steelers and some of the off-season questions that I think the Steelers going to have to really be real to themselves and answer and try to get this team on the right track. Because if you guys watched the game yesterday, especially actually both games, but especially the Detroit Washington game, and you just looked at both offenses, the Steelers are light years away from that. And part of it is personnel, part of it is probably quarterback, part of it is me personally. I don't think Arthur Smith want to run that. I'm not gonna say he want to run that type of offense, but that's not his style. And to be honest, that's the type of style of offense I believe that you need to score points in this league now. Because as we all know, the Steelers want to win 17, 16, 10, 6, and you can't win like that now. The league is not even set up like that. I mean, the league is set up to score points and push that ball down the field. And I think right now, the Steelers is just light years away from that. So I just came up with 5 questions that I want to kind of go through and just, put out some of my ideas of what they need to do and what I think they probably will do. So let's see here. We can get this. Okay. Question number 1. Can Mike Tomlin humble himself? And what I mean by that is, at this point, everybody know Mike Tomlin he's here to stay. He's not going nowhere. He's not getting fired, not getting traded. So at the end of the day, a lot of this stuff and the Steelers problems fall at their feet. At his feet, excuse me. And is he going to be able to humble himself to say, hey, you know what? I mean, obviously, I'm still a coach of this team, but maybe I need to step back and let my coordinators do more of the things they want to do. Because regardless of what people say, Mike Tomlin fingerprints is all over this team. I believe he limit his offensive coordinator on some of the things he can do. And it's well known that the defense is pretty much him. I mean, that's his philosophy. That's his that's his defense. So I think right there, can he humble himself to say, hey, I need to just sit back, be more of a CEO type of coach and let the guys that I hired do what they need to do on their side of the ball. I don't know. I mean, it's normal. I mean, you do something for almost 20 years, it's hard to change. And unless he's getting that pressure from the top, that it doesn't seem like he is, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that or he's going to even be made to do that. So, that's just a important question that I think that we got to see what happens here. But like I say right now, I don't know if he's going to be willing to do that or not. All right. Which quarterback should the Steelers resign? This is one of the number one topics right now. A lot of people, you got basically 2 camps. You got the Russell Wilson camp. You got the Justin Fields camp. Me personally, I don't know. I don't know where I'm at because honestly, um, I see good in both. I mean, obviously, Justin is younger, um, more mobile, but he's not as good of a passer than Russ. Russ, I mean, and this is the only thing that kind of gets me frustrated with people. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Russ is 36 years old. So, he can't do the things that he did back in his younger days, but he's still fairly mobile. I mean, you would talk to some people that you would think Russ was like Big Ben and had, two bricks on his feet. I mean, he can still move a little. I mean, honestly, he can move more than a little. Um, but he do have some issues. The thing with Russ is you got to put weapons around him, and you have to put a good offensive line in front of him, especially at this point in his career. Because a lot of those plays where he probably could get away, he's a step slower now, so he's not able to do all that stuff. But I think if you put the weapons around him and you put the improve that offensive line play, I still think you can get a lot out of Russ, especially throwing the ball. So it's just going to be a situation I think the Steelers are going to have to look at. Um, are they able to, get the weapons that they need, fix that receivers room? Um, and then on top of that, they got to really realize do both of these guys want to come back? I mean, Russ might be like, I mean, obviously, I don't really know where he would go, but he might be like, hey, I don't want to deal with this. I mean, I'm about to be 37. I don't want to deal with this. Justin Fields may see, an opportunity elsewhere. So it ain't even so much of, do the Steelers want to bring these guys back? The Steelers better hope these guys want to come back, because if both of them decide to go elsewhere, they're going to be in a world of hurt, quarterback wise. So we'll see, and that's just going to be the $1 million question of which quarterback do they bring back. But me personally, I'm kind of leaning more to Russ, just for the fact I think he could throw the ball better than Fields. And honestly, I would like to see both of them back. And then with Fields, just to sit back and learn and really learn from Russ. But granted, he did that last year, and to be fair, I mean, you want to play, so I can understand it if Fields be like, I sat 1 year, I'm not about to sit two. So it's just it's a tricky situation, and hopefully the Steelers can work this out, and whatever decision they make, hope is the right one. Okay, what do we do with George Pickens? Another frustrating situation. Um, that story came out that he was late for the Christmas game. Um, I seen when Tomlin was asked about it, he had like he didn't know nothing about it. So who knows what's really going on in that situation? George Pickens, I mean, we said this before. He needs to mature. He's very immature. I think some of the things that he was doing, I think he really was doing it to maybe get out of Pittsburgh. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when you didn't really put another guy on the side of him. Even though I thought Mike Williams, for some reason, I don't know why they really didn't want to use him, because it seems like whenever they gave him an opportunity, to make a play. He made a play, but um, me personally, I really think um Pickens just got frustrated with the offense. Then he got hurt, and then he missed games, and he probably felt like in his mind he probably could have played. But I think they probably really, really, I truly believe, and this is where I probably got to blame Mike Tomlin a little bit. I think where they really lost him and he probably totally checked out was I just can imagine the whole receiver room when the game plan was put down with Cincinnati. And you know what? Yeah, I know that just a couple, weeks before we threw for 400 some yards against these guys, but now I I think we're just going to line up and pound the ball at them. And I think not only Pickens, but I think that whole room probably checked out after that. Like what's what's going on here? Um, so as far as trading Pickens, me personally, I don't believe it's really going to be a situation where the Steelers can trade him, just for the fact he's in his last year of his contract. Um, he act like a knucklehead. So if you're a team, unless maybe one of your coaches, maybe whatever team it could be, got a relationship with him or something, you can't take that chance of trading for a guy in his last year's contract and thinking that we're gonna give it a run and see what happened at the end of the year. Because if the guy walks on you, if you traded at least a second round pick, which I think the Steelers will want, they're not just gonna give him away. Um, a team gonna look at, we just gave a second round pick away, and this dude either is a knucklehead and we ain't got holes, or this dude, pick his walk, or they would have to pay him. They would have to give him a contract. And I think right now, I don't think nobody's going to be willing to give him a big contract, especially, coming off the year that he came off of and his behavior. So I really think the Steelers is kind of stuck with him, which is not really a bad thing. But the one thing if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, what I would do, they got to fix that receiver room and say if they draft a guy and if they can bring in a free agent, they need to set that room up that we're not so dependent on George Pickens. So if he want to act up and be a problem, it's not an issue for them to jettison him or do whatever they have to do. But the team is not going to really hurt the team as much because they have other players there. But then on the flip side, I mean, I don't think George Pickens is no dummy, and he he's going into his contract year, so I really expect him to be on his best behavior because he want to get that contract. So if the Steelers maybe know deep down we're not going to re-sign him, hey, you use him and get that good year out of him. So me personally, I think George Pickens will be a Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. All right. Is there any concern? Should the Steelers be concerned about TJ Watt? The sacks were down. He had a few games, especially this last playoff game. No stats, no stat line. Me personally, I would say no. I think TJ is hurt. I mean, I don't know if they'll announce it, but I wouldn't be shocked if this guy going to have one or two surgeries. I think his ankle is jacked up. I think his thumb is jacked up. Then in that playoff game, he hurt his elbow. So, me personally, I think it was more injuries than him really slowing down. So, I don't really think the Steelers got any concern right now about TJ. Like I said, I just think it was a situation where he was just beat up, and I mean they do need to scheme a little better as far as moving him around a little bit, which I think in his in his um, in his news conference he even said that he's willing to do that. So I don't really think it's a big concern. I just think he need to take this off season and get healthy. So I think it was more health than him slowing down. Yeah. And should the Steelers fire Teryl Austin? Um, if you look at what the product that was on the field, I would say yes. But I just believe Mike Tomlin has his finger so much on that defense that honestly, I don't see how he could sit across from that man and fire him when he kind of know that it was his game plan and kind of making him out of a scapegoat. I don't see Mike Tomlin doing that. Only way that I see that Teryl Austin get fired, that would have to be a Mr. Rooney call. But Mike Tomlin's not going to do that. I mean, because that would really be hypocritical to sit across from that man and say, "Hey, man, you're gonna have to go." But everybody know that Mike Tomlin is just as responsible for that defense as he is. So, unfortunately, I do think new ideas need to be, um, you know, just it need to be new ideas on it for that defense. But again, that's gonna come with Mike Tomlin stepping away and letting his defensive coordinators do their job, or his coordinators to do their job. So I don't I don't see Austin really going nowhere because I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened. If anything, I will say I think we need a new offensive line coach. Um, that that's the offensive line was bad, and I seen guys regress to me. And to me, Broderick Jones, he's in that danger zone in his career. Um, I don't really think he's a bust, but he's sliding down the bus lane right now, and I think a good offensive line coach is needed to get him straight and save him. If not, he will bust out. Because if you watch him, he plays lazy. Half the time he don't know what he's doing. Um, just some of the guys use some bad techniques, and that's all coaching. That's coaching. So um, I don't know if Mike Tomlin will make that move or make that decision, but I think that's something that needs to be done. So I would say Teryl Austin probably will still be here, and I can't see him getting dismissed. So that's really pretty much it. Just kind of wanted to talk about those things and about to get ready to watch the games and kind of you know look at again. You kind of get a little depressed when you look at these other teams playing, and you just know like, man, Pittsburgh can't beat those guys. But with that said, hey, everybody have a good Sunday. Take care, and I'll talk to you on next episode. All right, bye bye.